This is a Resolute Acclaim model 2490 wood burning stove. It's made by Vermont Castings, and I got this used. I think that people that have these know that the one problem with them is that the Firebrick tends to break eventually. And you can see that side piece of Firebrick there is broken, and those ones in the back. They want quite a bit of money to buy replacement Firebrick, over $100 each. I am going to try to make my own refractory cement and form cast my own replacement Firebrick for this stove. So my plan is to remove this broken piece. If you get a screwdriver under the bottom, you can get it moving. And I'm going to use this to make my form around so it will fit. The form will be the exact same size as this piece of Firebrick. Here's my broken Firebrick. It's missing a bit, but I'm going to estimate how to do this. It's got a little divot out of it. This is 1 inch thick, so I'm going to rip some 1x5 boards I have down to a 1 inch thickness to make my form. So I have my 1 inch pieces of wood cut to make my form, and I'm going to fasten them together using these sheetrock screws. The joints don't need to be that strong, and I'm going to pre-drill first. Then I can take my form off of the original Firebrick, and I should have a half decent form there to pour my refractory cement mix into. I'm preparing to put my refractory cement mix into the form, but I don't want it to stick to the plywood, so I'm going to try to just put some of this freezer paper underneath. I think that'll be good enough to keep it from sticking. Okay, now let's mix up that cement mix. The recipe I'm going to use is simply 4 perlite to 1 Portland, and I got that off of some other YouTube videos. And then before I add the water, I'll mix that up really good. I think it's difficult to mix once you add the water to it. Now we don't want to add too much water to this. It needs to be a pretty stiff mix. We definitely don't want any standing water. I'm going to add it slowly. See what we got. I think that's plenty of water. It might be a little bit too much. Okay, and let's put it into the form. This is the first Firebrick that I made, and I made this one with just the Portland and the perlite. This is the original. This is definitely not as dense as the original. I'm guessing that it might not hold up as well you know, if you bump logs and things into it, but it was sure cheap and fast to make. So I'm gonna give it a try. This is the second fire brick I made for the other side wall, and this one I used sand with it also. And this is definitely more dense than this one, and it's harder, and I believe that sand will make it stronger. So I think in the future I'm gonna use that sand mix. That was 1 Portland to 4 perlite to 2 sand. These things fit in there quite nicely. So it fits good, and we're going to try to make a fire in these now. We're going to start off with a very small fire and build up gradually. One last thing is, as you can see here, I also need to replace these back fire brick, and that's a little more complicated. Those are L-shaped and they have some three-dimensionality to them. I'm going to try to do those on my own too, but that'll be for another video.